Hi, Floyd here with another story. Only this one is about Christine. We went to Russia in 95, 96, and it was a tough time for the Russians, for everybody in that time period. And we ended up in St. Petersburg teaching in an international school. Now, a whole bunch of other things happened before that, in between that, after that. I'll tell you about them further stories. But this particular story, we got there, and the school was so understaffed that they wanted me to teach 150% time, and they wanted Christine to do this and that. Well, we negotiated down, so I taught 3/4 time. But Christine, in college, had worked in a library. And then in Vienna, when we were at Vienna Christian School, she worked in that library. This library in St. Petersburg was in shambles. The computer worked, but it hadn't been used, and so Christine put the entire library into that computer, logged all the books, etc. And then she put all the books on the right shelves. She got students to help her out. She literally put the library on the planet, if you will, number one. Number two, there were Korean missionaries who were there, and they wanted their children to learn English. Russian, yes, but also English. Well, Christine had gone to England couple 3 years before and taken a Cambridge TESOL course certificate, which is teaching English as a second language, and she passed with very high scores. The British almost tried to keep her. And then she came back to Vienna Christian School. She set up a TESOL program. She trained a couple of other teachers to teach TESOL, which is a unique way of teaching. You teach English in English. It's not like an American university where you learn German in English. No, TESOL would be learning German in German from the ground up, very first day. And it's very unique. She trained me how to do some of it, and I helped along the way down the road. But she had a number of students in that class, and so 2-3 times a week, I don't remember exactly how many times a week, I don't remember how often a week, but she owned that course of TESOL, of teaching all the kids in the school that needed English, TESOL. 2. Number 3, we had a tutor, Svetlana, who would come over, I believe, a couple times a week and give us Russian lessons. And Christine and I learned very differently, and I talk fast, and then people don't notice my mistakes, but Christine's very meticulous and exact. She gets the grammar down perfect. She knows exactly what that word means in a given context, and she, quote, learns slower, but that's not fair. She learns deeper, whereas I'm trying to cover as many bridges as I can. And Svetlana was constantly praising both of us, but especially Christine, because she was really throwing herself into learning Russian, and she had done a marvelous job. That was number 3. Number 4, and she was doing her homework during the week between Svetlana's visits. That was number 3. Number 4, we were having friends over. We were constantly inviting people into our home. We started first with a school, and then we branched out with the people we'd been running into in different places. One person in particular was our landlord, who helped us through a couple of difficult situations, and we had them over. And Christine's doing all the cooking. We didn't have a washing machine, no laundromat close. We washed all the clothes in the bathtub, and the sheets in the bathtub, and the cooked and cleaned house, and domestic wise, she did all of that. Now that was number 4. She didn't do a lot of the shopping because it meant going out a lot, and I didn't want her going out by herself, so I went out and did most of the shopping. And I can remember coming home one day saying, I didn't find the eggs. I keep moving them every day to another place, but I will find them at some point. So she did all the cooking and the cleaning, and I did the shopping. So far we have 5 things she was heavily involved in. She put the library together. She put a TESOL program together and was teaching and training others. She was learning Russian, and very well. She was doing all the cooking for entertaining guests and engaging them, and she was doing most of the housework and the cleaning. Now, you would think that would be, quote, enough. Well, before we went to Russia, she had finished writing her first historical novel called In the Shadow of the Cathedral. And she had almost finished, half finished the second one called Hammering at the Doors of Heaven. Both are set in the Middle Ages around the year 1000 in a German-speaking country where it approaches building a cathedral from the common person's perspective. Before we left, we were contacted by Kriegel, who asked to come and show the books, and they loved the books, and they said they want to publish both books, not one of them, but both of them, and so when she finished the second one, they'd publish both together. Well, she didn't have the second one done. So, on top of those 5 things in St. Petersburg, she also completed her second novel, 95% of it. And it took a lot of work. She had her little office and her little luggable computer. It wasn't a small thing like it is today. It was a big thing. And we had a couple jokes. I can't help my wife. She wanted to read her books out. She wanted to read her chapters out loud to me. She said that helped her process, but I don't do the editing for her. She's the editor. But I helped her with the plot. And one of the jokes was, after her reading a chapter, I would say, "You can't do that to Carl in chapter 5. "Why not? You killed him in chapter 4. "Oh, okay, I'll correct that. She scurried back into her room. So she would read, ask my input, modify, tweak, etc., but she was the writer. She got 95% of that novel done before we left, in about 7 months. Now, I want to tell you a story. We had a Russian couple over, and when they found out how much she was doing, and she wasn't really happy because she missed her kids really a lot and really would have preferred to be back in the States or even in Austria where there was internet connection. And after hearing that, this Russian wife and mother said, "Oh, you're a Decembrist bride." A Decembrist bride. I said, "What's that?" She said, "Well, in Russian history, there was an evil czar, and there were a bunch of soldiers and captains and royalty that wanted to take him down, but they didn't do it well, and he won the battle, and he shipped the ones he didn't kill, he shipped the rest off to Siberia. He told their wives that they could stay in St. Petersburg and live a happy, comfortable, noble life with their kids and family, but they could never go to Siberia to be with their husbands. If they chose, and they could choose, to go to Siberia with their husbands, they had to leave their children at home and never come back. Every single one of those wives went to Siberia, gave up their children to live out their lives with their husbands in Siberia. They became known as the Decembrist bride, and it is the highest compliment a Russian can pay to a wife, to call her a Decembrist bride. And that title my wife received in St. Petersburg in the 7 months we were there. She's quite a woman. She's just really amazing. Quite a woman. Okay, hope you enjoyed this story, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.